just revisit and tell you where the market has settled in at. It sure was, looking like one of those very, very quiet days. Let's see where it's currently at, and it's pretty quiet for the Nifty. In fact, if nothing, it's gone a little bit soft at 24,360 thereabouts. That's where we're currently at. Angel One, Fortis, Persistent, Max Healthcare, these are some of the names which are seeing a little bit of profit taking come by, and it's really Adani names all the way. Adani Enterprises up 4%, Adani Green 3.5%, Adani Ports up 2% right now. Adani Power is on the strong wicket right now, and all of these names are the ones which are really taking the leap forward. Having said that, the breadth of the market it's favoring the advances right now, but it's just by a slim margin. So let's see. And within the large cap pool, other than the Adani names, Enterprises, Ports, BEL, Geofinance and Shriram, not a whole lot is actually holding out in the green. In fact, technology once again is at the bottom of the pack. Some of the staples names as well, like a Nestle, Titan, Tata Consumer, the consumer pack that is, they're all in the red right now. And then of course there are blue chips, ICICI Bank, M&M, HDFC Bank, Bharti, ITC. They're also a little bit soft, so that's really weighing heavy on the indexes as we speak right now. But let's switch gears and let's talk about Biocon right now. And given that, there is a lot of news flow around them. Recently, they've got 2 approvals for their biosimilars. The USFDA approved Biocon Biologics 2 biosimilars. The treatment, of course, is for osteoporosis. That, of course, has been adding a whole lot of fillip to Biocon. And let's try and understand what really is the long-term visibility. What is it that they intend to hope to achieve in FY26 and beyond? We've got Siddharth Mitta, the MD and CEO at Biocon, joining in on the show right now. Siddharth, hi, morning. Great to have you on ET Now. Let me first address these 2 latest approvals that you've got, with both new drugs approved for interchangeability. How soon do you think can patients in the US actually start getting it, and what kind of market share are you aiming for?
So good morning, and thank you for having me on this discussion. I think it's a great news that we received the approval for both the drugs. I think this was one of the drugs that we've had already received approval in the Europe market. We had launched it, and now with the approval from USFDA, we of course look forward to bringing these 2 drugs to the patients in the US. And I think from a timing perspective, I can't talk specific, but we are looking at bringing this drug to the markets at the earliest, sometime more likely in calendar 26 though.
Okay. But Siddharth, given that it's not just one, you've got 2 approvals, how meaningful could this really be for Biocon's revenues over the next couple of years?
See, if you look at the innovator sale in the US, it's roughly $5 billion between the 2 drugs. I mean, the drug is Denosumab. Of course, there are 2 innovator brands, Prolia and Xtiva. One for osteoporosis and another one for bone metastasis. And, the combined opportunity is worth $5 billion. We do, of course, have other competitors for the same drug in the US. And while it's early days to comment that what could it contribute, but I think what I would like to highlight today, we have 4 drugs which are launched in various parts of the world, and each of these drugs is worth $200 million plus in revenue for us. So we, of course, expect Denosumab over a period of time also to contribute something in that range. And it should be a major growth driver for us in the coming years.
All right. Hi, Siddharth. Morning. Good to be speaking with you. But help us understand, under what conditions do you invest in interchangeability designations? Because this one is for that itself. And what is the switching evidence, and how will you operationalize the education to accelerate confident adoption without triggering excessive discounting at this point in time?
The interchangeability, of course, is a subject which is evolving yet for biosimilars in the US. We have had multiple biosimilar drugs already approved and launched in the US, not only for Biocon, but I'm just saying for the biosimilar industry. Though and interchangeable drugs, whether it was insulin glargine that we had launched as interchangeable insulin, and that had garnered almost 18% market share and was a great success. Now, when it comes to Part B drugs, like Denosumab is going to be a Part B drug. Of course, interchangeability is a matter which impacts the pricing because you're able to interchange with the brand which is not interchangeable. And today, that allows us to get better market share in discussions with the payers. But of course, it comes at a bit of a pricing discount compared to a branded drug or a branded biosimilar. So there is a trade-off between a higher volume that you can get versus slightly lower price compared to non-interchangeable drug.
Right, okay, so that's the take coming in on the methodology over there. But Siddharth, hi, morning. Along with this, also tell us what's the latest impact of the US tariffs, if at all you're seeing anything on your business, and how is the sentiment shaping up? Is there any potential effect of the MFN, which is your most favored nation pricing? Any impact of that on Biocon?
We are waiting for the investigation that's going on, and I think we are of course, like everyone else, waiting and watching in terms of what will be the outcome of that investigation. We are hoping that there will be a trade deal between US and India, and there will be no tariffs on pharmaceutical product. But if there is a tariff, I think we have to be agile. We have to plan our supply chain. We are looking at various ways to address the tariff impact, if at all it's there. We recently inaugurated a facility in the US for oral solid dosage, which allows us to manufacture those OSDs in the US. We also acquired a facility in Bayview, US, which is a biologic API facility, which will also allow us in long term to manufacture the drug substance in the US. We are also looking at tying up with various CMOs and external partners like Civica tie-up that we had done for Aspart, which will bring us closer to the patients and also, in a way mitigate the impact of tariffs, if at all.
But Siddharth, that's obviously going to come in as a cost, right? Tell me, what's the prioritized use of the cash framework over the next 12 to 24 months? I mean, debt reduction, R&D, CapEx, everything?
I think everything. I can't say that one versus another. We, everything that you just spelled out is important for our future growth. We have R&D, which is going to drive the future portfolio and growth. CapEx is important to create capacities for, products such as insulin and peptides, where we are investing heavily. And of course, debt reduction is a priority. I mean, today we've got a bank debt of roughly 1.2 billion, and the repayment of the bank debt, which is roughly 250 million, and the remaining is a bond. But the bank debt repayment starts next year. So we, of course, are looking at how to maximize the free cash flow so we can continue to invest in R&D, CapEx, and also meet our debt obligations.
That's what I was interested to know about, Siddharth. How do you plan your investments regarding the GLP-1 peptides and the complex generic pipeline? What are the plans going ahead? Because you have been talking about this whole GLP-1 opportunity and how Biocon is gearing up for that.
See, Biocon, of course, is very well placed to play in this market. I think it's it's getting increasingly interesting in terms of the various dynamics across the globe. We have seen different forecasts from analysts talking about the expected sales for the innovators anywhere in the range of 100 billion to 150 billion by 2030. And it's growing. I mean, there are 100 plus GLP-1s in clinical trial and development. So we are definitely quite excited about this space for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And Biocon is one of the very few vertically integrated players. We manufacture our drug substance, we do our fill finish, and we have our own devices. And we have seen the success on the scientific front with the approval of liraglutide in the UK and European market. We were the first liraglutide generic to be approved in any ICH country in the world. So, we have proven our scientific capabilities. We are, of course, now working on filing Ozempic, generic Ozempic and Wegovy in various markets. We will also be filing for generic Mounjaro next year in the US and other markets. And, in 2026, 27 onwards is when we start to receive or expect to receive approvals and then launch the product in various markets. And today, if you look at the sales are underrepresented because the innovator has not fully supplied the drug to various parts of the world. I mean, they have, in a way, prioritized their capacities to bigger markets such as US and Europe. So there are many markets which are, underserved. And that's the objective that we have. How do we bring these drugs to patients in a very affordable cost?
Just practically right now, or back of the envelope calculation, Siddharth, how big could the GLP-1 opportunity be for you in terms of numbers?
See, it's difficult for me to quantify because a large part of the market today is, as I mentioned, US and Europe, and which opens up only in 2031. And Mounjaro opens up in 2034. So there's still some time before these blockbuster drugs are commercialized in US and Europe. But that said, for the emerging markets, I mean, a combination of liraglutide, semaglutide, can contribute over $100 million annually once it's launched in emerging markets in two years or so.
Yeah,
I mean, in India itself, we have seen forecasts that GLP-1 market could be almost $1.5 billion over the next couple of years. I mean, which is a staggering number from, if you look at the entire Indian pharmaceutical market, GLPs can contribute $1.5 billion, almost 12,000 crores. That's a huge opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And, given the cardiac and the diabetic history of Indian DNA, I'm sure it would be a big hit. But great, Siddharth. Thanks so much for your time today. Good speaking with you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Okay, let's take a very quick break on that note.